To me, it doesn't make business sense to diminish your only star. And what makes even less sense is who the WNBA is now pushing to replace Caitlin Clark as the face of pretend basketball.
ESPN is under massive pressure right now as backlash from Caitlin Clark's supporters explodes across social media. The reaction isn't slow or subtle. It's instant, loud, and coming from every corner of the basketball world. This wasn't just a random opinion or a harmless on-air remark. Fans believe it came across as a clear lack of respect toward one of the biggest forces currently shaping women's basketball. And now, the network is facing the fallout in real time with no easy way to control the narrative. Supporters have been closely watching how Caitlin Clark has been discussed in the media since her rise to stardom. But this latest incident has intensified everything. What was already a heated conversation has now turned into a full-blown debate about bias, double standards, and how elite talent is being portrayed on national television. When a player is pulling record-breaking viewership, selling out arenas across the country, and bringing unprecedented attention to the league, expectations for fair coverage are high. But critics argue that instead of celebration, there are moments of unnecessary criticism and skepticism being pushed on air. But that's why fans are now asking a blunt question. Is Caitlin Clark being judged by the same standards as everyone else? Or is something else influencing the way her success is being framed? And that question is exactly what set the internet on fire after this latest ESPN moment. This is why the outrage isn't fading. It's growing stronger by the day. Fans aren't reacting to a single comment or one TV segment. They're responding to a pattern they believe has been building for a long time. Supporters have been tracking every critical remark, every dismissive take, and every moment where Caitlin Clark's impact felt downplayed. Over time, they say it's added up to a narrative they simply can't ignore anymore. And now, they feel this latest situation is just the tipping point. Across social platforms, reactions are pouring in nonstop. It's not just frustration. It's a demand for respect and accountability from one of the most influential media platforms in sports. Fans argue they've seen enough, and they're no longer willing to stay quiet about it. The center of the debate is a bigger, more uncomfortable conversation. Some believe the discussion around Clark has shifted beyond basketball and into something more personal in how her success is being framed and interpreted. And that's exactly why this moment has ignited such a powerful response online. Because for a large part of the audience, this no longer feels like just sports commentary.
I mean, they'll hire you to do anything if you check the right boxes. The WNBA and ESPN. The agenda is what, folks? Thick. It is thick. Just say it. I think the team's better without the straight white girl on it. There, we said it out loud. We said it out loud. We think the team's better without the straight white girl on it. We doing this again? Is this what we're doing? I told you guys, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same bullshit from 2024 and 2025 with the media. Once we start playing games, other players going to go back to kicking Caitlin Clark's ass. I mean, I'm expecting all of that crap. We played, 13 games last year, and there was, 4 incidents? One of them involving Angel Reese and the entire Indiana Fever fan base. Oh, wait a minute. Entire Caitlin Clark fan base that was in attendance were all a bunch of racists all of a sudden. That shit is wild. It really, guys.
So the real question hanging in the air for viewers is uncomfortable but unavoidable. How does a player who consistently produces, improves, and elevates the game still end up at the center of conversations that barely even mention her actual performance? Why does the discussion around Caitlin Clark repeatedly shift away from what happens on the court, her shooting, her passing, her impact, and drift into debates that feel disconnected from basketball itself? And why does that pattern seem to repeat season after season, no matter what she achieves? At some point, the bigger question becomes, who actually benefits from framing her rise as something controversial instead of what many see it as? One of the biggest boosts this league has seen in years. The reality is simple. When performance can't be reasonably questioned, the narrative often moves elsewhere. That's not unique to sports. It's how attention and debate often work in general. But the numbers around Caitlin Clark are difficult to ignore. Her scoring, her playmaking, her ability to draw crowds, and the surge in viewership all point in one direction: impact. And that's why this conversation keeps returning to her name. Not because of what she isn't doing, but because of how much she is. What stands out here is the core divide. Fans see this as a reaction to Caitlin Clark's success, and that difference changes everything about how the entire situation is interpreted, because when you strip it back to basketball alone, the confusion only grows. Every argument eventually runs into the same wall: performance. The numbers, the impact, the attendance surge, the spotlight she brings to every arena she steps into. That's why this perspective feels less like an emotional outburst and more like frustration built over time. For many longtime followers of the game, what's happening around her doesn't line up with what they're seeing on the court. And when that gap keeps widening, it naturally turns into disbelief. The concern being raised isn't just about criticism, it's about consistency. How someone so productive and so influential can still be surrounded by narratives that seem disconnected from the reality of her impact. And the most revealing part of all of this is the honesty behind the reaction. Not exaggeration, not hype, just the feeling that the conversation around Caitlin Clark has moved into a space where basketball alone doesn't fully explain what's being said anymore.
I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen the thought process that these old fans have, and that the way the media is, and the priorities of the league, and the elevation of girlfriends, all of it. It is ludicrous what is happening. It's nuts. It really is. It really is. And yet, Caitlin Clark is so dynamic and so exciting to watch. I'm going to watch. I am. Because it's fascinating. It is so fascinating. The hate is real. It is real. Make no mistake, got nothing to do with sports. Ain't got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark's basketball skills or none of that. She don't play for the other team. Okay? In other words, she don't get down. White and straight. Oh, but you aren't supposed to say stuff like that out loud. I mean, come on. We've watched it.
So the real question viewers are left with is simple, but hard to ignore. How does a player who has clearly lifted an entire sport to new heights still end up facing this kind of pushback in certain spaces? Because the facts are already out in the open. Viewership is up, arenas are packed, merchandise is flying, and the spotlight on the league has never been brighter. Yet the tone surrounding her, from some media angles and surrounding narratives, doesn't always match that growth. That's where the tension comes in. Fans are asking why recognition of that impact sometimes feels muted when the conversation turns public or critical, and why the loudest celebration of this moment in women's basketball doesn't always sound as consistent as the numbers suggest it should be. For many observers, the pattern feels familiar. When performance is undeniable, the discussion shifts away from the court itself, away from stats, efficiency, and production, and toward angles that feel more subjective and harder to measure. And that's what makes this situation so heavily debated. Because at its core, this isn't just about one player's success. It's about how that success is being framed, discussed, and understood in real time. What's being argued here is that, for a growing number of fans, this is no longer viewed as a pure basketball discussion. It feels like something broader is being layered onto it, and the frustration comes from that disconnect. People who follow the game closely believe they're watching something genuinely special unfold on the court: elite production, historic attention, and a level of influence that's reshaping the league's visibility. That's why the tone of the conversation matters so much. When the framing shifts away from performance and into interpretation, it creates a sense that the sport itself is being filtered through something other than what's actually happening in front of everyone. What makes the next perspective stand out is its attempt to stay balanced. It doesn't treat every physical play or competitive moment as part of a bigger storyline. There's at least an effort to separate normal basketball from overanalysis, and that kind of restraint is rare in this debate. But even with that caution, the conclusion still lands in a place that raises eyebrows. Because once you strip everything back, the suggestion remains that there may be intentional framing at play around Caitlin Clark within parts of the media ecosystem and league discourse. And whether people agree with that or not, the reason it resonates is simple. It comes from a place that isn't trying to inflame the conversation, it's trying to make sense of it.